hotels and the universities to local businesses, which for us local means statewide because we only have 10 machines out, so not yet in every city, but statewide entrepreneurs that never get to be in the airport, that never would get to be in a hotel because they don't have those connections. Allow them to only pay $500 a month to be in these places, and then people shop local. And what we've been able to do is negotiate free rent. So all of our Pop Shop local machines, we have one in Columbus Airport, one in New York Hilton, one in Beverly Center in Los Angeles, all these places, they give us free space because we are supporting local. So it really works out. It helps definitely our bottom line, but it also helps us to feel good about like empowering other businesses while also, I mean, let's face it, anybody know the sales cycle for corporate? It's long. Enterprise sales cycle, hella long. So if I was waiting on them, you know, we wouldn't be in business. So it's like we're leaning on local, giving them a chance, and they're also helping us to expand also.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting intersection between e-commerce and retail, because when you think about retail, the first thing that pops up is, oh, you have a brick and mortar store. And what does that come back to? Oh, I need rent. Oh, I need inventory. I need a set amount of products. I have to have all these things in line in order to even just get in the door. And then you think about wholesale. You think about getting into Target, into Walmart. For that, again, you need huge amounts of inventory. You need huge amounts of money up front. And for a lot of small businesses, that's just not always accessible.
It's not. I mean, I know I have a small business still, flat on heels, and you know, this was a way for me to distribute my product direct to customer faster. And so now I see the impact that it has on other businesses. And my thing is, if you can run a successful e-commerce store, you can crush it in a Pop Shop because it's doing everything you do in e-commerce, but this time they get it right now. It's delivered on site. So we look for brands that really understand how to play in the social media space, how to play in the ad space, because they already have the content that is attracting people to click onto their website from Instagram. That same content can convert them on the Pop Shop. So we're the brands that are really savvy on e-commerce, it translates very, very well, and it's an amazing middle point between brick and mortar e-commerce because it's a launch pad per se. If you're doing really, really well online, you don't really want to get your own store yet, or you do, just you don't want to have all the overhead and the staff, try it in a Pop Shop. If you do good in Pop Shop local, have your own machine, and then you can expand. So we're really hoping to open it up to where you see Best Buy machines everywhere. I mean, one of your businesses can be everywhere, like Best Buy, if you had that chance. And now we're giving entrepreneurs that chance.
And you know, in today's world where e-commerce kind of rules everything, but you still see these traditional e-commerce companies pushing into brick and mortar. I mean, I love to bring up just Glossier as like a simple beauty example of that, where they continue to open up new locations even though they've started in the e-commerce space. Do you think it's necessary for e-commerce businesses to have some kind of retail foothold?
I think, but it depends on also their brand, you know, but this is true, only 12.8% of all, e-commerce only accounts for 12.8% of all shopping, and 80% of shopping done is impulsive. How many times do you go to Target for one thing and come out with $100 worth of stuff? That's like the magic number. I'm buying one thing, and it's $100 worth, because it's an impulse, and so we're still playing to that, and if you put a Pop Shop in a place like a hotel lobby where it's not a lot of options to shop, and you're impulsively wanting to try local products, so we're still playing on that. So yes, brick and mortar is important still, but I wouldn't say that brands couldn't be successful without any physical presence, because you know I know several that are. It's just a matter of, as a brand owner, retailer, knowing where your customer needs your product and meeting them everywhere they are, and that's what's true omni-channel. Meeting them everywhere they are. They're in the store, they're in the online, they're on social media, and selling to them at every touch point.
So we've talked a lot about sort of the hardware aspect behind your business, but you really are, you told me, a software company, you're a tech company. Tell me a little bit about that side. I mean, tell me about what you're doing with machine learning, what you're doing with facial recognition.
Yeah, so what we do, we use facial detection. So it's not recognition because we don't recognize you, definitely alignment with all the privacy laws. It's detection, and what we do is detect demographic profile. So in my instance, I'm a female adult, and it will say, a female adult walked by the machine, she came and touched the screen, she purchased or did not purchase. She spent, 20 rates in their traffic patterns, and also determine, since there's no person there working, to determine, is this machine in the right place? So I can use Flat Iron Heels as an example. It's a women's shoe product. If the cameras on the Pop Shop, they count everybody that walks by and creates a demographic profile. So 1,000 people walk by the airport machine every single day. If 80% of those people that walk by were males, it's probably not the best place for a female product. So it really helps you to decide where to sell the product, what converts the best, or if people are not watching your ads, you probably should change the ad. We had one machine we had to figure out in LA, why are men staring at this machine for so long? Like, we're looking at the numbers like, this machine ad time is like crazy. Like, why are they watching this? And then it's like, a sexy woman on the screen. Okay, it makes sense. And then there was another ad that was getting watched a lot in North Carolina. Like some very sexy barbecue sauce dripping. And everybody was really it. It was a vending machine that sold barbecue sauce. And it was converting. But then there's some ads that don't. But this is helpful to know. Okay, more of the sexy dripping, more of the hot chicks. You know what I mean? And see what really works. And that's the beauty of our technology. We use it to help retailers make better decisions, but not to be invasive in any way. We also can use it for, as I shared with you before, cannabis, alcohol, alcohol, tobacco, pharmaceuticals, all of those we can do as well. But even that technology, we don't use your face. We use a QR code and we use the blockchain. So we're just really about protecting the identity of the consumer. And as things progress, we would love to see the consumer be able to leverage the blockchain to even control their identity more and monetize their identity as well using our technology.
I'm a little afraid of this, to be honest. I'm like, what would I see? Like, if I were to walk up to one of your machines and they did me really well. I mean, for me, it would be all my products.
Yeah, and you know what? You would deliver a product based on, the retailer can set an ad to deliver based on demographic profile. So if they were targeting, for me, female adults, I get that ad. If they were targeting male seniors, they would get that ad. So it learns, it's learning. It's a lot of learning though. You guys all know we're in tech, facial detection is far off from being accurate as well. That's why we only do profiles. Man and women, and even that's not easy to detect. So it's like 90% right now. But to go so far as to try to detect actual ethnicity and really read faces for verification, I feel like it's not safe to do that right now.
Yeah, waiting for the technology to sort of catch up.
Or hopefully it doesn't.
Or maybe not. So speaking of the future a little bit, what do you think the future of your company is? What do you see for PopCom, and what are sort of your hopes and dreams? I mean, you've come up with 5 companies so far.
Yeah, my dream is to see it live far beyond me, that's for sure. But I definitely see the Pop Shop Local program as being a launch pad for many small and medium-sized businesses to get more exposure in their local economy and people that are coming to their industry. But then I know that we have we're right there. We're ready for the regulated retail market. The regulators and the legislators are not, so I'm actually traveling to DC next week to meet with legislators about allowing regulated products to be sold in vending machines and only have to get one approval. So for example, our alcohol machines are approved in the California state by the ABC board there, but there's 50 states. So we can't scale because it's every state by state approval, and who has time, money to lobby every single state? So we want to be able to really go into the regulated market more. We really feel like we can dominate that space, but we're waiting for the market to become ready for what our product is. So I do see, in the next 5 years, PopCon being used a lot more for cannabis, pharmaceuticals, and more regulated use because we really do have proprietary technology in that area. And then of course Pop Shop Local, but honestly y'all, I'm trying to be a partner in the next couple of years, so I'm trying to retire by 45, I'm 43, I've been in the game 20
She does not look 43.
And I'm trying to be out of here, but I want to build something that just goes beyond me, that the world can use, that hopefully people that look like me, entrepreneurs that look like me, can now get their products in airports and hotels and things easier, and I can be chilling somewhere with my hubby and on vacation.
Plus, that sounds so good. But I do have another question, because you founded so many companies, and you kind of have to let your babies go after a while. You found one, you realize it's no longer applicable, or maybe I don't see this going everywhere. How do you decide when it's the right time to say, I'm going to close up shop, I've done as much as I need to do here, I'm finished up, all right, let's go on to the next thing? Where do you get a sudden realization?
No, for me it's about being self-aware. Like, how far do you want to go? Like, how far do you, as a human being person with your mental health, how far do you want to go? And I set the 45 age when I was 20. I started my first business when I was 21. So I said, okay, I'm doing 25 years of work. And something's going to shake. Either, Frederick Bay, you're going to take care of me, or one of these businesses going to exit. That's I say that. But, like, I set the boundaries for myself. And all these businesses that I have, some are really performing well. A couple of them could be doing better. And, that's because you have to have teams and manage them. And so I'm going to be selling a couple of the businesses. But it all comes down to, like, where do I want to take it? I know for sure I don't want to be the CEO of a publicly traded company. Never wanted to do that. Never wanted that kind of pressure. I never wanted to be a CEO of a huge company of 100 plus employees. Not interested.
Why?
I'm not interested. I like small culture. I like a small team. I'm not that people-y, I'm really kind of introverted. So I just know that's not what I want. But you have to know that. You have to know what you're building. You have to know when it's time to go. So I've built my company and my structure where, it'd be easy for another CEO to step in when it's time, or if and when it's time, or easy for my industry. I built this for an automated retail industry, and I wanted to go beyond me. I knew that. Some people have big visions. Some people want to build and take IPO, and it's important to know, kind of like in the beginning when you started, how far do you want to go?
So do you set yourself that up from the beginning? Do you say, this is exactly how far I'm going to take it, and from here,
yes, before you don't know the time. If anybody would have told me I'd be doing this for 10 years, I would have been like, nah. I just never thought it would take 10 years. I started doing this in 2012, and I just did not think it was going to take 10 years. But I met the goal, and I always remind myself, I set out to create a vending machine, build this software, get it to market, get customers, and make money. I wanted to do it in a year or two. It took 10, but I did it anyway. And I do give myself that credit, and I think all of us, just like be gentle with yourself. It's never gonna go like how you plan. Nothing's ever worked out for me as planned, but it always worked out for me for my highest good. So in that case, it feels good, but the journey is crazy. This is a nice 30-minute panel, but the journey is nuts. Crazy.
I have one really specific question that I just really like to ask all founders I talk to, and that is, how do you deal with stress?
Stress? Well, are we friends? This is Inc. magazine.
We're friends. We're open here. We like people.
Well, cannabis, yoga, meditation, vacation. She said, I love this. Yoga, meditation, travel, but you know what? Boundaries. Yes. Boundaries. Just boundaries. Like, whatever your boundary is. Like, for me, I set a boundary for myself a few years ago. I don't do meetings before 11 a.m. It's my time. Because CEOs, we be up working all night long. Y'all gotta let me sleep a little bit, do my workouts, or eat, or just whatever I gotta do in the morning, and I don't do meetings till 11. At first, people were like, what? I wanna meet at 9 a.m. Like, if an investor wanna meet at 9 a.m., you gotta get up and eat. No, they're gonna meet me at 11. And if they wanna invest and get this opportunity to get into this amazing company that's growing, they're gonna meet me at 11. And so it's just like enforcing those boundaries with everyone, friends, family. That's how I stay. I feel like I am stress-free. I have pressure, but stress kills. And I think people tell me that I look younger or whatever because I don't let things stress me out. I make it a priority to just self-care wasn't a phrase like until 2 years ago, but like me first. Was I say me first? Me pour into me, and people will adjust. People will adjust, especially if they value you.
I wish Scott was here to hear that. We need to tell him to not start meetings till 11, please.
This is your new boundary.
This is my new boundary. Thank you. We're changing Heretic magazine. And my other question that I just ask every founder that I talk to, because it's very crucial. It's just what is the one most important lesson that you've taught yourself over the last, say, 20 years?
Trust myself. I know what I'm doing. I know it's in me. Like, it's programmed inside of me. I know what I'm doing. God gave me this vision for everything that I'm doing. I'm walking in my purpose. And people who are not in my purpose and on my path, they're not going to understand me all the time. And every single time I went off my path, second-guessed myself, changed, pivoted because of what they said, I was right. And so why not just bypass them? And I'm just right. And so that's That's how I'm doing it, you know? That's the lesson. Dawn, you have all the tools. Trust yourself. Sit with it. Sit with it for some time. Does it feel good? Say it out loud. What is your stomach? How does your stomach feel when you say it out loud? Do you get a queasy feeling or does it feel good? Okay, that's the way. And that's the best advice. My mom told me this when I was a kid, but I didn't really understand it until the voice continues to never lead me down the wrong path.
I absolutely love that. Thank you. We have a few minutes left for questions from the audience. If anyone has anything that they're interested in asking Dawn, we can also pass a mic around if you're interested. Or you can just speak loudly, either way.
Yeah, I'm up here.
Holla at me.
Thanks so much. Based off of that last question, I think in the beginning, finding that voice and learning how to trust that voice and understanding is, you know, this is just me or I'm being crazy or different things like that. How did you develop and fine tune the understanding to say, hey, this is the actual voice that I should be following?
Quiet in my mind, really learning how to meditate and quiet my mind. It was so important for me. Everybody, you know, the different techniques. I have like a windshield wiper. Like imagine just wiping the thoughts out, and that's when the voice can come through. Just kind of gotta sit with yourself. Also, a test I learned in a book. I can't remember what book it was, but it actually says, say it out loud and see how your body responds. And I tested by doing things like, I'll say, go skydiving. See, my stomach hurt. That don't feel good to me. That don't sound right. The vision of me falling out of a plane don't work for me. So, another one, hire this CTO, you know? Okay, how do I feel? That's real, the gut is real. I mean, I'm really like a nerd about like the body and nature. The gut is all here, that's the voice. That's what they say, trust your gut. It's like really, it's all there. So I sit with it, I say it out loud. If it feels good to my body to hear it, it's the answer. Try it. And test it on things that you don't like, and you'll see your body be like, no. And then test it on something you love, and you'll be like, and it works. You know, that God gave us these like computers and this whole machine. You gotta tap into it.
I love that. We got one more? Yeah, we have one.
So you said that originally.
We have the mic coming for you, thanks.
If you said originally that you thought it would take a year or two to, launch your business and get everything rolling, what would be the biggest reasons that you thought it took 10 years?
It took 10 years because funding, I had to build slow, way slower than my counterparts. And it takes a lot of money to build hardware from scratch out of your brain, custom hardware, went through 5 prototypes, 5 manufacturers. But then also, I wasn't an industry expert. Like, I was doing something I had no idea about. I was making simple mistakes. You don't know what you don't know. I had to go to accelerator program in Hong Kong to really learn hardware. I was a fool to think I'm gonna jump into something because I'm a good business person. It's not enough to just know business. You need to know that industry. So I had to learn the industry, and I did learn how to learn the hard way by making mistakes. So that took longer. If it was somebody that got into the industry that was already trained for it, they probably would have accelerated faster through it. But for me, I don't give up. So that's the thing. I'm gonna get there. It just took longer because a lot of barriers to entry. Also, I started in 2012. It ain't the tech scene we see today. There wasn't any money. It was not gonna happen. I got my first money from angel investors, from my former clients. Thank goodness I had high net worth clients in my consulting business. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I got all angel investors when I started, and they were all Black angel investors. So that was a blessing. 2010, 2012. So again, it's just like, our journey's unique. I see people come into tech and blow up in 8 months, and sometimes I'll be like, damn, but then I'll be like, hold on. Congratulations to them. You're on your journey. Don't compare yourself to nobody because your journey is unique. And we gotta all remind ourselves that, because social media reminds you ain't on point. But then you are on your journey where you should be.
And you told me, it reminds me a little bit of an interesting figure that you told me about crowdfunding from your last raise. If you want to talk a little about that, it's so interesting.
Everybody loves the crowdfunding journey, which is also very crazy, but I am very fortunate and grateful to have raised now over $6 million from 10,000 investors, 10,000 plus investors for PopCom. But that happened for me it was like my only path forward at the time. You know, I was between I raised my first million from venture and, you know, lots of seed money and pre-seed money for Black founders. Even today, there's a lot more money. And then when you get past that, and you're not seed, but you're definitely not Series A yet, it just really wasn't any money there. And this is 2018. Keep in mind still, there's a lot more that exists today. And my investors, they just were not following on. And they expected me to meet certain goals really, really fast, which is the venture scale. And sometimes the VC scaling is good for some businesses that can do that. But a business like mine, I realized after the fact, hey, you might not be.
1 second.
Oh my God.
How are you doing today, by the way?
I'm real tired, but I'm good.
I know you're moving around.
I had 3 panels today.
Yeah.
3.
I saw you on your first panel.
Tired.
All right.
It's all good.
So here we go.
Do you need us to hold anything for you?
No, I can hold everything.
All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna just ask you these questions, but then you can kind of just go through it. I want to just ask you question. Basically, the question is, what's your name, where are you from, and what you do, and just talk about overall what was the last panel without, and you'll be okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. So it's recorded. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, so what's your name, where are you from, and what you do, and just overall just talk about the last panel that you just talked about.
Yeah, my name's Dawn Dixon. I'm Dawn Dixon. I'm the founder and CEO of Popcom. Really a serial entrepreneur, a lot of businesses. So this panel that I did with Inc. and Inc. House was mainly about my journey being an entrepreneur. It was called When to Pivot. So as a 20-year entrepreneur, I've definitely pivoted many times. I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, so even pivoting my city that I had to live in to build my business, something that I did, and just happy to be here at Black Tech Week to share my story and hopefully empower the future entrepreneurs coming next.